If you know you're better with another, if you're better with another, then I will let you go. But if you know that I can make it for you, I'd do anything, baby, please don't let me go, 'cause I really want the chance, yeah. Hello everybody, it's your boy Loco, and you're watching the Crystal Beauty Show. Yeah, ma.
Thank you so much for joining me on the Crystal Beauty Show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Great. So I understand that you're currently doing interviews for your movie which you're a lead star in, which is Rogue Warrior.
Yes.
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Rogue Warrior is about the taking over of the worlds, not just this world, but all the worlds, by artificial intelligence.
Okay.
And so my character basically sets out to put an end to that, to find the one weapon that can fry the positronic network. And but in the process, what's kind of neat is Rogue Warrior is also a human story. So there's an unveiling, and she learns a lot about herself along the way. And so there's a whole journey that you go on with the movie, but there's also the human element.
Okay. So what is it about this production that actually got you interested in it? Why did you decide to work on this production?
Everything. Because first of all, I grew up as a tomboy, so I like anything that requires a lot of, that requires a lot of physical activity, because it's so funny. Usually you go on a film set and you're like, when am I going to put my workouts in? And this whole film was like a giant workout, so... But also the human element of it. It had a lot of places and arcs for the character to go, and the whole idea of robotics, because I grew up around robotics. My father ran a power electronics convention. It's the biggest one in the world, so I was always quite fascinated with robotics. So it kind of had a little bit of everything that I love in a project.
Nice. So what kind of people do you think would be interested in watching this movie?
Well, it's funny. If it was just about the overtaking of the world by artificial intelligence, then I'd say, well, sci-fi geeks, right? Yeah. But since there's a human element story, and it's like this really rich drama behind the story, I can see where people who don't usually give sci-fi a chance would also be drawn to this particular story, because there is, there is so many different layers to it on a human standpoint.
Okay, amazing. And what was challenging to you to bring this character to life?
The whole thing was challenging. That's why we do what we do, Yeah. A couple of different things come to mind. One is, since I'd never really done an action film before, for some reason it didn't enter my brain that there'd be so many takes of the action scenes. Because I'm like, we'll just do this, that, and the other thing, and we'll redo the dialogue scenes. But I had to go up these mountains that were hundreds of feet tall and have whole choreographed action scenes and do them, 10, 12, 15 times in a row. Wow. So, yeah, that was challenging that I didn't expect. And I'd say the other really big challenge, just to name a couple of them, was that my sidekick in the film, for a lot of it, is a robot. And so how was I going to make that real? Because to me, everything I do has to be real, And I talked to Diet Coke cans when a famous actor couldn't be there one day, but I'd never really brought an inanimate object to life. And I knew that how I handled it was paramount to the viewers also buying the relationship. So I actually have him in my office right here, and I had the director leave him in my office for months in advance. And I just kind of created his personality and talked to him and interacted with him so that when it had to be real to me, that it was real to me. Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. What was your favorite line in this movie, without giving the movie away? What line would you say was your favorite that you had to say?
There's so much techno jargon in it.
Yeah.
And so that was probably my favorite, was when you have to rattle off all this techno jargon.
Yeah.
But as far as moments in the movie, it's in the trailer too. There's this part where my character, all she says is, "Oh my God." But it is such a revealing moment. And it's just like, I'm just choking back the tears when I say it because of what I was feeling and what was being revealed to the audience. And so that was probably my favorite moment of all I said was, "Oh my God," but it was so many layers in there by that time in the film. Yeah.
Awesome. And do you think your character and your personality in real life, do they connect in any way, or are they different?
They're very different. It's funny because somebody asked me that after the premiere, and I said, really the only thing that we have in common is we kind of look like each other. It's like, because she's so much stronger than I am, internally and externally. And I actually had to put on quite a bit of muscle for the role. Like, I usually stay fit, but I put on extra muscle for the role. She's stronger than I am emotionally, but she's also more vulnerable than I am emotionally. And so I felt like I learned so much from her character by having to go to those places and feel those things. And that happens a lot with film, where you learn from your own characters because their experiences become your experiences.
Very correct.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Awesome. So you actually just mentioned you usually stay fit, which is amazing. I've seen your pictures and I've been following you. So what is your secret? I mean,
there's so many, but none of them are secrets.
Okay.
I'd say I absolutely love lifting heavy, and I've always lifted heavy, and that's one of the big things. I'm a big kid, so I like running around. I'm not that person that sits still for a long time.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, I say probably 80% of it comes from the kitchen. It's what you put in. It's just like anything else. It's like what you put on your skin is why your skin looks good or bad. And what you put in your body is why you can stay fit or not. I'm mostly a mono eater. Like, I try to eat one food at a time. And then probably one time a day I'll like have a meal. But most of the day it's like one food. Because that's how your body processes best. And I don't eat meat. I'll eat eggs and I'll eat dairy, but I won't eat meat. Yeah. So
good to know. Thank you.
All
right.
It's
and
little adjustments in life. It's not the big things,
I know, right? So I understand that you're married and you have children. So I was just curious to know, how do you juggle it all?
Well, I'm not married, actually.
Oh no! I did some
and
research.
most of my life I was a single mom.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, I have 3 lovely accidents, but and that's actually harder. It's a lot of juggling, and I think it's just that I have such a passion for what I do, and that I just find a way to make it work. When the kids were younger, it was a lot harder, but I still found a way to make it work. I was never that person. I never had that luxury of being able to put aside what I did to take care of my kids.
Yeah.
So it's like you just got to fit everything in, And I remember when my son was little, instead of going to the gym, I would rollerblade all the time, but with him in a stroller, So it's like you have to find a way to make everything work, Especially if you're driven so passionately by something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Most of our audience are actually Africans or those of African descent. Would you be interested, just curious, in working in a project that was produced or made in Africa? Is that something that would ever interest you?
That would be amazing. Yes. I think it would be absolutely spectacular. I love location shooting. On the film we're working on now, The Time War, we shot a lot of it in England, all over England. But I've always wanted to go to Africa. I just think that would be so amazing. Yeah.
You would love it there.
I think I would.
Yeah.
I think I would. I have a lot of friends that have been, but I only usually visit the places where I work on projects because I'm always working. So I only get to go if somebody's shooting somewhere.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to find something for you in African then.
That would be amazing.
So what advice would you have for our viewers who want to become actors or actresses like yourself?
if there's anything else that you want to do that, because it's easier. It's, it's really, really, really hard. As a little kid, it was all I wanted to do. And I'm super glad I stuck with it. But it's literally, I worked so much harder than anybody else that I know. I think that one of the things that people forget when they do something that is creative, and any sort of creativity, is that they're waiting all the time for things to happen. They're waiting for that big break. And you can't. You have to work on it full time, just like you're working. You have to train, you have to stay fit, you have to eat right, you have to study people. Like for me, a large part of what I do is I'm absolutely fascinated by all walks of life. Mm-hmm. And I just love studying people, because you never know when you're going to have to project what that person's feeling, or what that person, everything we do, we look different, we act different, they have different little things about them. And so the best thing you could do besides getting good, solid training is to really enjoy people and study them. They're fascinating. Yeah.
Awesome. And I also understand that you've won some awards. Congratulations. And I know that you've been on a lot of the covers of a lot of magazines. Awesome. So thank you so much for granting us this interview, and good luck with everything. And I hope that everything works out well.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. Thanks. Okay.
We were attacked. One of those old half-wit BT-14s. Someone attached one of your prototype brain extractors to its arm.
Robots. They've declared martial law, downloading memories with big brain suckers.
Robots are changing protocols. The AI Scourge has been planning our genocide. We have maybe less than a month. Scourge.
A weapon that can fry AI on a planetary scale.
You're staying here.
A clever girl would steal one of Ralston's shuttles.
Watch where you're going. Traffic pixel. To the gun! No. Very bad. Yeah, she didn't plan this very well.
You two fly back. I have a weapon to find.
I'm a pleasure bot. I clean up real well if you wanted to take your pleasure from me. I'd like that. Or do you like a dirty girl?